Hello, everybody. Welcome to C3 Films. Today, we're doing another episode of It Wasn't That Good. My name is Cheryl, and this is.
Chris.
And today, we're going to be talking about the CW series Kung Fu, recommended to me by Chris. I had nothing to do with it, even though you would think that it was my idea. Just saying.
Wow. That- that's pretty good.
But anyways, Chris, tell me why you didn't like it. Where do we even start? Yeah, I know Chris
Oh
does.
my
Chris
gosh.
loves CW.
Oh my gosh. The moment I was saying this on our Twitch channel, which you guys haven't checked it out, twitch.tv/C3 Films. Come check out what we have to say. We have more uncensored broadcast over there that we can't put on YouTube. But for when the moment that the show starts and I see the CW logo pop up, I immediately felt like I was going through PTSD or something. I like felt my body like cringe. And to be fair, CW has had good shows in the past, but in the last couple of years of CW shows, they have been more or less majority all trash. So the fact that this had a CW logo on it, I was ready. I was ready to like hate it, but at the same time, I said, let me give it a chance because the content is different than what we normally see. And the first thing this show opens up with, I felt like Cheryl in this moment. It opens up with freaking narration. And it's like narration as if we're seeing a preview of like an episode that we missed. Like when the show starts, I literally was like, wait a second, is this the first episode or did I miss something? Because it's talking about how she's like she went to China, then her mom tried to hook her up with someone, and then she ran away, and then it's like going through her whole like origin story. And I was like, I guess because like when you saw shows like Arrow, it starts with him already on the island and he does his thing, and then I think later on they talk about him like being on the island and getting off. So like for it to start in a way where it's talking about this whole like backstory in like the first like couple of seconds that we just kind of like gloss over, I was like, wait, did I miss an episode of something
Wait,
already?
hang on. By the way, we're going to spoil this, and
Oh.
but don't worry about it.
Spoiler alert, right? So yeah, so I just thought that was a very weird way to like start the show. It didn't seem like they were like it was starting from a point of like letting us just experience this and go out and then go along for the ride, and then it's like, oh, this is where we end up, and then it's like now 3 years later. It was almost like they were like, okay, we're gonna run out of time, so we're just gonna say all this stuff happened, and she's just talking about it, and then now we're at the point 3 years later, and it was jarring. It made me feel like I was like starting an episode that was the second episode of something I should have seen beforehand. So that already didn't feel great to me. Um, and then
It's funny that you say that because I kind of didn't mind it. Like, I felt like it was moving along and it wasn't taking forever to get to the point of the story.
right,
So
I
yeah,
mean,
it's interesting that you didn't like it, but I mean, okay. When I saw CW, I kind of had the same feeling. I was like, why did Chris give me a CW show to watch? Um, and then I was like, oh hey, Chinese people, yeah. And I was like excited to see
looking
like
out for you.
but no, it was like yeah, like I always say, like I get excited when I have the opportunity to like watch people that look like me on TV and stuff like that. But then I was also like, oh, but it's CW and it's called Kung Fu, and I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
feel that stereotype rubbing in my face right now. And then it takes place in San Francisco, and I was like, oh hey, and I was like, wait, is this also a stereotype?
You start asking yourself, I'm happy, but should I be?
And then I'm like, oh man, I'm an Asian person that lives in San Francisco.
I mean,
Shoot. But you know what? I don't speak Mandarin. Ha.
and you don't know kung fu either.
I don't know Kung Fu, so ha. I don't relate to this show at all.
Yes. And speaking of the title, of, like called Kung Fu, at least in the first episode, the martial arts are pretty bad, in my opinion. As like someone who's like watched a lot of martial arts films and is like a martial arts enthusiast, the choreography for some of these fights just looks really rough. And it reminded me of when I saw Iron Fist back in the day. And Iron Fist was another thing that got a lot of criticism for this because they had a lead character that couldn't do martial arts well, that couldn't sell the choreography. And I'm not saying this particular lead actress can't. I feel like for the most part, maybe her stuff is overall fine, but you definitely notice it with some of the other fights and some of the other actors where things just don't look as good as they could. And that's surprising to me because even in things like Arrow, like the martial arts in those first couple of seasons, and up until like season 5 when I stopped watching it, like all the martial arts in that looked pretty good and pretty like well choreographed and like made it look like hits hurt and stuff like that. But sometimes these hits don't look like they're actually doing really any kind of damage. The camera is cutting a lot, and whenever you have like the camera cutting a lot for a fight sequence, it's usually to hide something or to hide how bad your actors are at actually doing like the fights or the choreography or the stunts. And so that just didn't sit right with me. So right away, I'm already kind of like having a
Checked
problem with
out.
it. But I don't want to talk too much. But I mean, if there were things that you liked, please do tell me because I still have like at least two other hit things to hit that I did not like.
Uh, Whew. I mean, I think maybe the reason why I feel like I didn't hate it is because I was rooting for it. You know, like I
Mm-hmm.
want it to be good.
I want it to be good.
Yeah, but there are some things I appreciate. I appreciate that they actually used Mandarin. That's real Mandarin. No, I don't speak it, but I can understand enough of it to know that they're actually speaking Mandarin.
Speaking it, and they're
Yeah,
can you tell if they're speaking it well though,
they're speaking it
or
well. Yeah.
okay?
And then I also kind of connected with the family because I feel like the way they depicted the family,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's very relatable. So I like the characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also like, okay, if they were gonna kill her Sifu, why why did they kill her if they're just gonna have her be around all the time as a ghost?
With no explanation of why that is. How is she speaking to her? They didn't even make that like the story is the next thing. But continue. Yes.
Yeah, so that kind of bugged me. But yeah, I think yeah, maybe it was just playing on my heartstrings because I'm like, oh, it's a Chinese family and it takes place in my hometown. Of course, they have a
Right.
restaurant. They're really rich if they live in that neighborhood. I think
I
they could
know,
solve
right?
all their
I saw that.
problems. They should just sell the house, make $1 million, find like buy a cheap place in like I don't know,
Where
Antioch.
I was gonna say, where's cheap? You ain't gonna be in San
Where-
Francisco.
yeah, not in San Francisco, but they can sell the business, sell the house, get lots of money, pay off their debt, buy another. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but I feel
That's
like the money problem isn't really sensible because they clearly live in a nice neighborhood. I don't think that's actually a San Francisco neighborhood. I don't think they
I think
use
so.
the outside of an actual house in an actual San Francisco neighborhood. They just use like B-roll shots, like yeah, we're in San Francisco, like they did in That's So Raven.
Right. By the way, you have a question in the chat that I think is pretty interesting to address.
Do you find it
So
strange to have Mandarin as the main language over Cantonese for a story about Chinese Americans in the Bay Area? I know that they put a brief explainer in Shang-Chi because they obviously wanted to appeal to China, even though it never aired over there. But it just feels off to me, given more modern immigration has brought Mandarin to the South Bay as widely spoken secondary language. I don't find it weird. I imagine it's probably for the same reason, where like more people internationally and nationally know Mandarin as opposed to Cantonese. I personally prefer Cantonese just because like I'm more familiar with it, and I kind of am sad that there's not as much Cantonese content available like in the for the average, American to see. Um but I think I feel like it's the correct thing to do, because I know Cantonese is very predominant in the Bay Area, but I think there's also enough Mandarin speakers here for that to still be acceptable.
Hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Because yeah, that's something that I I couldn't answer. So so that was a question just for you and your take.
Yeah,
Um,
like half of my family speaks Mandarin as well as Cantonese.
but you grew up mainly hearing
I
Cantonese.
grew up mainly hearing English.
Oh, okay. But
And
outside
then
of that.
Cantonese, then Cantonese, yes. Don't be
Wow.
racist.
Wow. She really just did that as if I just was the guy that asked her, so where are you really
Where are you
from?
from?
No,
Oh, shoot.
really, what did you really grow up hearing? Oh man.
I got too excited. Hang on. Oh my god.
Apparently, it's a point that her family is from northern China, and Cantonese comes up as a plot point later. Okay, so then it
And
looks like
that's
they
in
even
the
address it
video.
in the show. Yeah.
Sorry.
All good. So yeah, but Caboose also just put on in the chat that they will address it as a plot point later on in the series.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you guys actually watched more than one episode. Does it get better? There's 3 seasons. It has to get better, no?
Yeah, I mean, Flash has like 7 or 9 seasons, I think, at this point,
But
and Flash
I
got.
like Flash.
Oh my
Okay, so
God.
here's the thing. Like, about CW. Okay, maybe we'll just talk about CW for a little bit because,
Mm.
like, we once did an episode on the 100, which I
Yes.
think is 100 times worse than Kung Fu for the beginning. But I forget who was it. Striker Man who was like
For
preaching
me, it was
it,
Zane. No, Zane was telling us that, or telling me that I need to keep
and
watching.
it gets
Zane
better.
specifically.
Same
Yes, and
thing.
that's why I got to season 2.
I think it was the same thing with Titans, where everyone like it starts off bad, but then it gets better. But then there's also stuff that I have watched and that like I watched like a lot of like seasons and seasons of, and that's like The Flash, Arrow,
Mm-hmm.
what's it, Supergirl, and all that stuff. Even stuff like maybe you guys don't know is CW, but you have the Vampire Diaries. Yeah, the Vampire Diaries, the originals, and then Legacies. Those are all part of the same universe, and those are all
Okay.
CW shows, and I liked all of them. So, like, I'm not gonna say that CW is bad. I think it's just not for everyone because
I
there's a
Yeah.
level of like hokiness to them.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be like okay with that.
Right, but I'm also coming at it from somebody who's not saying that he didn't like CW shows at all. I watched 5 seasons of Arrow. I watched Constantine and liked it when it came. Although I don't think that was on the CW. Actually, now I'm thinking
Was
about
what
that, that
about
was on a different
Gotham?
channel.
Gotham is CW too,
No,
isn't it?
no, Gotham is Fox. Gotham
Oh,
was Fox.
okay. But it's
But Super,
basically like a CW
but
show.
I have watched all seasons of Supernatural, so I am on the CW train. Like I have
Right.
watched and committed to these CW shows. I watched The Flash. I watched Legends of Tomorrow. My thing was that these shows that I loved got worse over time. So so CW and the quality for me is what started to change because I like in the shows that you were talking about, a lot of them are actually older shows. A lot of them were actually
Yeah,
shows that aren't from the last 5 years.
right.
So
They're getting
and,
worse.
so yeah, and Supernatural, I love Supernatural, and I can tell you right now that that got worse. So the I stayed up for this.
I'm like,
So,
why do I
but
see so many capital letters going on in the chat? Oh my goodness.
so, anyway, moving
Back to
on.
Kung Fu.
Back to Kung Fu. So the thing about Kung Fu is that it has some of the later CW writing as well, and also the CW acting, because the writing is just so on the nose. And I get it, they're trying to like move it along and everything else like that, but it's so on the nose to the point where you even have to question and ask yourself, wait, why are things moving this fast? Like, why did she just meet this guy and is like already like, oh my god, you look kind of good, and then
Yes.
all of a sudden, and now we're like, now I'm trusting you with all the intricate details of like my entire life and like showing you like my scar and things like that. It's just like, whoa, you just met this dude like literally 5 minutes ago. Not to mention the whole thing with like they still have to have the love triangle in some kind of way. Of course, she has like she sees her ex boyfriend, and then her ex boyfriend is like, of course, like the this guy that can help her out. But then at the same time, he has a girlfriend now. So, and it's just like, and that's the thing you always see in the CW shows. You see these like
Hmm.
these dumb love triangle bull stuff that I could just live without.
I love that
And
stuff.
oh my lord.
It's so bad,
Oh,
it's good.
my lord. Oh my lord. And then the acting. Not all actors are bad. I will say that right off the bat, but there are some of these actors though. Some of these actors. And like, look, it's not completely fair because of the fact that I watched this immediately after watching Beef and watching Steven Yeun, but
Yeah,
bruh,
no.
bruh,
You can't
these
compare them.
actors
They're
I
two
still
they're two
though.
different genres
Still
of
though,
TV show. I
you
mean,
can still act. You can
for
still.
for a different audience. So, okay, let me put it this way. Let me kind of try to change the perspective here. You are not the target audience. So, I
Oh
think like
yeah. So it's
I
targeted to people who don't like good acting.
well, but no, because I don't think it's like terrible acting because I would agree that the writing is on the nose. Like everything you just said is correct. But I'm going
Yes.
to put this show into that category of it knows what it is and it's doing everything in the realm of what it is. So it's like a genre, a type of show that is consistently not that good. But like I get it. I don't know why I'm trying to defend it. I feel
I
like
don't know why she's trying to defend it, chat. Why do you think Cheryl is trying to defend the show? But please continue.
Chinese people are cool. I am not biased.
I'm not biased at all.
They're all beautiful.
It's okay. Everybody should have an opportunity. That's how you know we're making progress, 'cause when everybody gets the opportunity to be in a bad show. Everyone should have that opportunity.
Yeah, no, but like I feel you though, cause like with that whole thing with that like really cute guy in the community center,
Hmm.
and then they're like locking eyes, like, oh yeah, okay, new love interest here, and then there's a triangle with the ex-boyfriend. Like that's so predictable, and like yes, I'm rolling my eyes, and I'm pretty sure that if they weren't Chinese, I would be rolling my eyes further back into my eye socket. But you know what? I've never seen Chinese people act like this before, so it's exciting to me.
Wow. Cheryl is getting something different from this show than what I clearly am getting. So, you know what then, Cheryl? I'm going to just go ahead and ask you. So, does that mean that you're going to continue watching it?
No.
Oh.
It's not good, guys. I'm sorry. I get no. I mean, I didn't like. I didn't hate it, but I just didn't think it was enough for me to like want to keep watching more. I thought it was interesting, but like maybe it's because for the same reason as you, I had just watched Beef, and like
Hmm.
that was some like we'll get into it in our other episode for Beef, but that stuff is like layered, detailed, beautiful masterpiece and stuff like that. And then here you got like McDonald's and which hey, listen, McDonald's tastes good, but it ain't good for you. So
You're right. I agree. This show is good for no one, including the actors involved. I hope they can all get work after this. Oh my lord.
Yeah, exactly. I like McDonald's too, but you know, it's also not good for you.
I mean,
So
and you know what? And clearly, people out there like this show because it
there's
got
three
3 seasons.
seasons, yeah.
Yes, those aren't short seasons. I think like there was like 13 or 16 episodes in season one when I was like looking. Um,
It's like you
but
can't look away. Like it's like one of those. That's how I feel about some of the other CW shows. Like I know it's bad. Like it's it's so hokey and everything, but like it's so interesting. I want to keep watching it. That's kind of how I feel a little bit about this, except for without the I want to keep watching it part.
yeah, no,
But it's
they,
interesting.
no. I guess like I could see the morbid curiosity. It's just. I rolled my eyes like you said so many times, especially
Yeah.
that time where she was just like, "Oh my gosh, I was waiting for someone like you to come and stand up to them, and now I feel like I can stand up to them." I'm like, if you just want to stand up to them the whole time, then why don't you just come stand up to them? Why are you waiting for somebody else to come and do this? It's like, oh my gosh, I can't with that show. I like tried so hard and I wanted to. I really wanted to, but yes, you're right. If this is what the CW has become, then yeah, CW shows are no longer for me. But at the same time, I was hoping for more, especially because like you said, when I didn't know it was going to take place in San Francisco, so that was a pleasant surprise. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then they do have a variety of different types of characters. Um, Not everybody is doing martial arts. There's a lot of people in there that are just like regular San Francisco natives that just happen to exist in exist in the world. But yeah, just the execution of this just feels like you said it's very hokey, and in some cases it asks you to stretch your imagination way further than I think that I'm willing to stretch it. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, I like you said, the show just isn't for me. I actually do think it's a bad show, but it clearly is for some people out there. Playmat asked in the chat a couple of minutes ago, who do you think the target audience is?
Me. I mean, like, it's. I don't know why you expected so much from CW at this point, but
Because Arrow season one, go back and watch Arrow season one and season two. Those are like two amazing seasons of television, and they were on the CW. Like they can. Flash season one is really, really good. Legends of Tomorrow season one is okay, but and Supernatural is great for 5 full seasons, and then they go on for an extra 8. So and then,
right.
like you said, the Vampire Diaries. So CW has had good things. I was younger at the time, but they've also had good things.
But I
So,
also think that those are hokey in a worse way. I feel like this is less hokey. I think the dialogue is just very bad, and the
mhm.
whole dynamic with the guys is a little bit like okay, I think we're past this in society. Can we stop doing this? But
Mhm.
I just feel there's like if you can get past the on the nose dialogue and kind of look more at not the.
The bad martial arts. Yeah, I think that'll help a lot too.
I mean, there's definitely a lot
Just
of
kidding.
there's definitely a lot of stuff in the show that is not good, but I feel
Hmm.
like I could show this to my mom and I think she'd probably enjoy it. She'd probably roll her eyes at the same stuff with like the
Yeah.
romance and stuff. But it's also like um I've seen quite a bit of TV shows and stuff from China that's actually Chinese shows and stuff.
Hmm.
And it's kind of similar. Like they do this kind of stuff. And I actually laughed at the beginning because the villain, the woman who steals the sword, she
Who also
has
can't act.
yeah, but
Sorry. Sorry. Yes, please continue.
but she has like dark lipstick on and I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh, she's evil." She has the dark lipstick. But they do that in like Chinese shows. Like you can tell that they're evil because of the way the makeup is and stuff like that. And they do like the stupid thing where the heroes wear white and the villains wear black and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So, it's a little bit like a mixture of nostalgia and like familiarity. It's the same stuff. Like it's all recycled garbage.
Recycled garbage.
but we but sometimes you just like the garbage. I even call the Flash and stuff like this. It's garbage TV. It's stuff that I want to watch when I don't want to care.
Oh God.
And I just want to like absorb trash.
Oh, you just made a bunch of DC fans cry by saying that Flash is trash TV.
But it's good. Like it's so bad it's good. And it's enjoyable because you're not expecting anything from it and so you just learn to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Am I explaining this like in
No, I
a
think
comprehensible way?
no, the chat agrees with you. So I'm not as much of a Flash fan, so it's fine. But it's funny because I just know my friend Omari is like rolling over in his bed right now, just like I feel like someone is talking badly about this show that I love.
I know. It was like, doesn't he love CW so
He
hard?
loves. Oh
Yeah.
man, we're gonna send him this video so that he
Oh
can feel.
God. He's gonna be so angry.
He's gonna be so hurt. He's gonna be like, "Put me on your show." I should send him. You know what? I should send him this episode. I should tell him to watch the first episode and see what
And
he
see what
thinks
he
of
thinks. Yeah. Then
of
show
Kung
him this
Fu.
video.
Yes.
Oh man.
Lord. Okay. Is there anything else? We've gone on longer than I thought we would about this. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we get into talking about actual quality?
Nope. That's it for me.
All right. So that's what we thought of the Kung Fu. Um, have you guys checked it out? Do you guys want to check it out after what we said about it? Do you disagree with us? Do you agree with us? Do you think that this is how the CW has always been? Whatever you thought about this and more, comment below. Let us know. And while you're down there, give us a like, share, and subscribe. Even if you don't, though, I have been Chris, and this has been
Cheryl, and I'm so cool.